This is the award-winning Lee Pitts Live.
Brought to you by Lee Health.
Southwest Florida, welcome back to Lee Pitts Live. Where are we? We are at the Sidney and Barn Davis Art Center in downtown Fort Myers on the River District. It is the preeminent place to go downtown for entertainment and for your art pleasure. We're so thrilled to be here and to bring you another great show this Sunday morning. Got a fabulous guest lineup. We're gonna get a chance to talk to Alan Mandel. He's the CEO of Goodwill. Find out how you can get that transportation if you have disability, have to go get your dialysis and all those other types of things. They are able to provide that service for you at an economical cost or free in some cases. Also, we'll get a chance to talk to Dr. Johnny Mae Hawkins. She's the founder and president of Women United for Women's Inc. Lee Pitts Live is a media sponsor of their upcoming event, and we can't wait to get the good doctor in here. And we'll close our show out with the fabulous, the dynamic, the incomparable Cornell Bunting. He's an author, he's an inventor, he's a writer, he's a model, he's a playwright. It's all done right here by Cornell Bunting. He'll be here in the studio. All that's happening on Lee Pitts Live. We'll be right back. Southwest Florida, we're so thrilled to have one of the most important companies here today on our show because they take care of the people who really need to be taken care of, that sometimes fall through the crack and we forget all about them. It's Goodwill Inc. and we have their executive CEO here, Alan Mandel. Good to get you here, Alan.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
I tell you, it's been a long time coming, and we're so thrilled to have you here. When I say that you take care of the people who are in most need, describe what is Goodwill.
Well, Goodwill provides transportation to people who are on Medicaid and to people who are non-Medicaid but are disadvantaged either physically or economically, and the state funds us for those trips.
How do you provide that transportation?
We have our own vehicles. We have 83 vehicles now.
83?
83.
What's the territory you're covering?
We are the CTC, Community Transportation Coordinator for Lee County, for Hendry County, and Glades County.
Wow, you're big time.
Area.
And
we do Medicaid and Collier as well.
So you got to be the largest, right? Transportation, medical transporting
I don't know if we are, but we have a good number of vehicles.
Oh, that's a lot.
And we now have 108 employees in our company.
One of your employees was driver of the rewarded. Tell us about her.
Yes, she was. Driver of the Year. Risha Roberson was awarded by the state of Florida's Commission for Transportation Disadvantaged as Driver of the Year for the heroic efforts and work she did in getting 9 cognitively disadvantaged people off of a burning bus. And one of them was in a wheelchair.
Amazing.
It was amazing.
For the whole state of Florida.
Whole state of Florida.
That must have been thrilling for you and for her and for your organization.
Yes, it was.
How do you have increased funding from the state?
Well, we worked with the state and we showed them that Lee County has a tremendous need for transportation for disadvantaged people, either physically or economically. And this year, they raised the amount of funding that we will receive every month. A year ago, they gave us $76,000, and now they're giving us $108,000. But then we also have to come up with a local match.
Okay. Is that difficult for you to come up with the local match?
Well, we're fortunate that we're supported by the United Way and also the city of Fort Myers, the city of Cape Coral, help us achieve that 10% match, which is required. And I will say that the county, Lee County, helps us with our capital match when we get vehicles.
That is good to hear about all of those partnerships. And I'm so looking forward to down the road having Lee Pitts Live partner up with you as well.
That would be great.
Now, how can people tap into your services? But before I get into that, Alan, we know you do transportation, but what are some other services you provide as well? There are different things that fall under transportation?
Well, there are different things we do. I mean, obviously under the transportation, we're taking people primarily to dialysis or chemo and to medical appointments. We have Goodwill's Services, which is a for-profit subsidiary, which is now providing transportation, school bus transportation to some of our charter schools here, DJB, Accelerated Middle, and also now Unity. And in addition to that, we also have the charter service, so that we can take children, usually they're school children here, Lee County schools, out to places like Ding Darling, things like that. That helps us fund the nonprofit Goodwheels Inc. And that's where we need to raise money. The contributions from the cities and the county are great, but it's really not sufficient given all the costs that we have.
Okay. Now, people can go to your website for information on that as well?
Yes, they can.
Give that website.
www.goodwheels.org.
Okay. And the phone number.
239-768-2900. And there are different prompts. If you're someone who needs a reservation, or you're calling to help someone get a reservation, as I just said, follow the prompt for reservations.
Mm-hmm. Now, disadvantaged people get there's some additional opportunities there in terms of tapping into some of your programs. Are there grants or things like that, or the Medicaid you were telling me about?
Medicaid basically funds us per trip.
Mm-hmm.
The state funds us to take the non-Medicaid people who are disadvantaged. And we do receive Federal Transit Administration grants that pass through the Florida Department of Transportation to us.
That, when you say disadvantaged, you mean physically and financially disadvantaged?
One or the other. Anyone who is physically disadvantaged, for example, someone in a wheelchair, certainly qualifies. And then, of course, if you have very little income and not on Medicaid, you would qualify for the state program.
What's Med Waiver?
Med Waiver is another form of payments that we get for taking people sometimes from nursing homes or private homes to a daycare facility, for example, Lark in the community.
Right. So people can tap into that service as well. Medicaid and Med Waiver clients, they're very similar?
They are, and those who are on Medicaid must contact their HMO.
I see.
And the HMO then will assign that client's name to a Medicaid broker who contracts with us to provide the trip. If you're a Med Waiver, you probably have a social counselor, possibly through the area aging agency, work with them to get transportation secured. And if you're not on Medicaid and not Med Waiver, but disadvantaged and economically challenged, then call us, complete an application, which takes about 3 days, and then we can provide the transportation.
So final question, when people do call you, they'll get somebody on the line eventually that can help them and walk them through some of the things that you just talked about.
Reservations will be able to discern whether they're Medicaid or non-Medicated and either take care of it directly or at least suggest to them who they need to call.
Are you finding that some people don't even know you exist?
Yes.
Or do the medical concerns refer them to you, or is there, in many cases, good for them to reach out to you themselves?
Medicaid brokers and the HMOs know we exist. It's the people who would be qualified for the state-funded transportation that possibly in prior years called and we said, well, we've exhausted our funding every month, and then they kind of don't bother calling back. It's time to call back because the state has now increased our funding and we can provide more trips than we ever did before.
Point well made. Well, Alan, it's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Nice to be here.
Look forward to getting you back in the future.
Thank you so much.
Keep up the good work. As the saying goes on this particular show, for those who say it can't be done, they're usually interrupted by those like Alan and all the fine people over there at Goodwill who are doing it. Good Wheels. We'll be right back with Dr. Hawkins.